Welcome back to the Money Museum. Today's exhibit doesn't look very impressive. It's just a machine. Thousands of people walk past machines like this every single day without giving them a second thought. Yet this simple invention quietly changed the lives of billions of people. Before we begin, I'd like you to imagine something. It's Saturday evening. You're traveling. Your wallet is empty. You suddenly need cash. You walk to your nearest bank. But the doors are locked. The lights are off. A sign on the window says, "Closed until Monday." Today that sounds like a small inconvenience. But 60 years ago, this was normal. Banks had opening hours. If you missed them, you simply had to wait. There was no ATM. No online banking. No mobile apps. No way to get your own money whenever you wanted. Strange, isn't it? Imagine working all week to earn your salary, and then being told you couldn't touch it because the bank was closed. Millions of people accepted this as a normal part of life. Until one man asked an incredibly simple question. Why can't a machine give people money? That single question would change banking forever. Today, let's discover how one ordinary-looking machine quietly transformed the modern world. Before this machine appeared, getting cash was surprisingly difficult. Today, we carry money in our pockets. We tap a card. We scan a QR code. We withdraw cash at any hour of the day. It feels completely normal. But for most of history, none of this existed. Banks were the only place where people could access their money. And banks followed their own schedule. They opened in the morning. They closed in the afternoon. Weekends were even worse. If you needed money on a Saturday night, or a Sunday morning, there was nothing you could do. Your money was still there. But it was locked behind heavy doors. Imagine arriving in another city after a long journey. You need to pay for a hotel. You need food. You need transportation. But your wallet is almost empty. The nearest bank is closed. You have no relatives nearby. No credit card. No ATM. Suddenly, a simple trip becomes a serious problem. Even people living in their own cities face similar situations. If payday arrived just before the weekend, long lines formed outside banks. Everyone wanted to withdraw cash before the doors closed. Customers often waited for hours. Bank tellers counted every banknote by hand. Every transaction took time. The process was slow, expensive, and stressful for both customers and employees. As more people opened bank accounts during the 1950s and 1960s, the pressure became even greater. Banks were becoming busier every year. The old system simply could not keep up. People wanted something faster, something available day and night. But at the time, the idea sounded impossible. A machine that could safely give people money. Most people would have laughed. They trusted human bank tellers, not machines. Yet somewhere in London, one engineer was about to imagine exactly that. And his inspiration came from the most unexpected place. Sometimes, the biggest inventions begin with the simplest ideas. In the mid-1960s, a Scottish engineer named John Shepherd Barron faced the same frustration as millions of other people. One day, he arrived at his bank just a few minutes too late. The doors were already closed. He couldn't withdraw his own money. Like everyone else, he had to wait. That evening, while relaxing in his bathtub, his mind kept returning to the same problem. There had to be a better way. Then, an ordinary object sparked an extraordinary idea. He thought about chocolate vending machines. You inserted a coin. The machine accepted it, and a chocolate bar appeared. It worked automatically. No cashier, no waiting, no conversation. Suddenly, a question appeared in his mind. If a machine can give people chocolate, why can't it give them money? It sounded almost ridiculous. After all, chocolate was cheap. Cash was valuable. Machine giving away money had to be secure. It had to recognize its customer. It had to prevent theft. And it had to work perfectly every single time. Most people would have dismissed the idea immediately. But John Shepherd Barron didn't. Instead, he began imagining how such a machine could actually work. He sketched designs. He considered different security systems. He searched for a way to identify customers without relying on a bank employee. Soon, he arranged a meeting with executives at Barclays Bank. Rather than giving a long presentation, he simply explained his vision. Imagine a machine that allows customers to withdraw cash at any time, day or night, even when the bank is closed. The bankers listened carefully. At first, the proposal sounded risky. No one had ever built anything like it. If the machine failed, customers would lose trust. If criminals found a weakness, the consequences could be enormous. But Barclays also saw something else. They saw the future. Instead of rejecting the idea, they agreed to take a chance. Construction began almost immediately. Few people realized it then. But inside that small engineering project, the future of banking was quietly taking shape. The world's first cash machine was about to make history. On the morning of June 27, 1967, something unusual was happening in a quiet suburb of London. Outside a branch of Barclays Bank, a small crowd had gathered. They weren't waiting to see a movie star. They weren't there for a royal visit. They had come to witness a machine that many believed would never work. Hidden inside the wall of the bank was the world's first automated cash machine. It looked simple. But behind that metal door was an idea that could change banking forever. To introduce the machine to the public, Barclays invited a well-known British television actor named Reg Varney. Cameras were ready. Journalists watched closely. Everyone wanted to see what would happen. Reg Varney stepped toward the machine. But here's something surprising. He didn't insert a plastic bank card. Plastic ATM cards didn't exist yet. Instead, he inserted a special paper voucher. The voucher contained a tiny amount of radioactive carbon. Don't worry. It wasn't dangerous. The invisible marking simply allowed the machine to recognize that the voucher was genuine. After inserting the voucher, Reg entered a personal identification number. Just 4 digits. Seconds later the machine came to life. A small mechanical sound echoed from inside. Then, something incredible happened. A crisp 10-pound banknote slowly emerged from the slot. For the first time in history, a machine had given cash directly to a customer without the help of a bank teller. It was a quiet moment. There were no fireworks, no loud celebration. But everyone standing there understood they had witnessed something completely new. Of course, the first ATM had many limitations. It could only dispense a fixed amount of cash. It accepted only special vouchers. And many people still preferred speaking to a real cashier. Some customers even distrusted the machine. They wondered, what if it keeps my voucher? What if it doesn't give me my money? Those fears were understandable. After all, people were being asked to trust a machine with their money for the very first time. Yet little by little, that trust began to grow. Banks noticed something remarkable. Customers loved the convenience. They no longer had to rush before closing time. They no longer had to stand in endless queues. For the first time, money was becoming available almost whenever people needed it. It was only the beginning. Within a few years, the idea spread far beyond Britain. And soon, the entire world wanted machines that never slept. The first ATM was far from perfect. It could only perform one simple task: give people cash. But sometimes, the simplest inventions create the biggest revolutions. After the success of the first machine in London, banks around the world began paying attention. They realized something important. Customers didn't just want money. They wanted freedom. Freedom to access their own savings whenever they needed them. During the 1970s, more banks installed cash machines. New designs appeared. Technology improved. Soon, paper vouchers were replaced by plastic bank cards. Electronic systems became faster. Security became stronger. ATMs could now recognize individual accounts and process transactions within seconds. By the 1980s, cash machines had become a familiar sight in cities around the world. Then came another revolution. International banking networks connected countries together. Suddenly, travelers could withdraw local currency almost anywhere. A vacation abroad became much easier. Business became faster. Trade became simpler. One invention had quietly connected millions of people to their money. Today, there are more than 3 million ATMs operating across the globe. Every single day, they process millions of transactions. Many people use them without giving them a second thought. Yet every withdrawal is part of a story that began with one simple question in a bathtub. Why can't a machine give people money? Even today, the ATM continues to evolve. Some machines accept cash deposits. Others allow you to pay bills. Some no longer require a physical card at all. Your smartphone can identify you. A QR code can replace your wallet. Fingerprints and facial recognition are becoming part of everyday banking. Technology keeps changing, but the original idea remains exactly the same. Give people safe access to their own money, anytime. Day or night. Here in the Money Museum, this machine reminds us that great inventions don't always look extraordinary. Sometimes they stand quietly in the corner of a bank, waiting for someone who simply needs a little cash. But before we leave this gallery, take one last look at the money inside this machine. Have you ever wondered what happens after those banknotes become old, torn, dirty, or too damaged to use? Do banks wash them, recycle them, or destroy them forever? Behind the next door of our museum lies another fascinating story. A story hidden from almost everyone, the secret life of old money. I'll see you in our next exhibit.